So these are the new earbuds from Sony, and they put a giant hole right where most earbuds put their main speaker. And it's pretty rare that we see a company completely redesign wireless earbuds. In fact, almost no company does it successfully. For example, Samsung made the Galaxy Beans or the Galaxy Buds Live, and they were mostly a huge flop. But what makes these any different, and why would Sony put a giant hole right there? Well, these, to say the least, are the first of many kinds. First of all, they're the first Sony earbuds that actually have a decent name. These are called the Sony LinkBuds. And secondly, as far as I'm aware, these are the first earbuds that have a shape that is anything like this, but it's actually kind of a nice, beneficial shape for many reasons. The idea behind these essentially is to have more of an open design. Now there are other open earbuds out there, but the idea of these are really threefold. The first thing is to be a little bit more like open back headphones. Now open back headphones give you a more natural sound, a little bit less compressed in your ear, and have their own benefits we'll talk about later on in the sound part of this video. The second thing is that the open design, by having a hole in the middle, allows more airflow in your ears, which means that you're never gonna have that stuffy feeling, it's never gonna be like sweaty or anything gross in your ears. Like, this is going to be generally better if you're sleeping with these or wearing them for a long period of time or working out with them. It's just a little bit more hygienic and a little bit more breathable for your ears. And the third thing is that these essentially allow you to combine the sounds of your real world around you with the sounds of your digital world, whether that's music or gaming or phone calls or anything else. By being able to hear both, because there's literally a hole in these, you are able to hear them without needing any kind of transparency mode or any kind of doing it artificially. So for example, something like the AirPods Pro have their transparency mode. And essentially what it does is it listens to the sound around you with the microphones, and it plays it back in the earbuds. So it sounds like you can hear the things around you, but there are some drawbacks with that. That style gives you a lot of white noise if you're indoors, it gives you loud hissing if it's windy outside, and it's not always nearly as real as you might want. Now these, you literally hear the sounds around you in the most analog and real way possible. But I mentioned that these were creating a lot of debate and they're pretty controversial. So let's talk about why that is, but I want to first start off with the physical design here, because that is going to be the root of pretty much anything that anybody's talking about with these earbuds. So starting off with the case, Sony made a really compact case here. Although it's a little bit taller than the AirPods case, in the other two dimensions, it is substantially smaller. So this is very pocketable, and I'm really happy with the size of this case here. There are a couple things that are very unique about this case. For one, it has a physical button to open these. Some other earbuds do that. Generally, that's not something I like, but it seems that Sony was trying to avoid magnets with this design, whether that's for supply chain reasons or price reasons, or I don't know why they might have done that, but you can also see the earbuds themselves kind of click into place. So they snap in a little bit magnetically, but you actually do have to place them in and press them down until you get that click. That's a mistake I made before, and they weren't charging for an entire day because I didn't push them in all the way. Otherwise, the case does not have Qi wireless charging or really any wireless charging. It has a USB Type-C charger on the back as well as a pairing button. And on the front, we have, of course, that button that opens the earbuds case. The earbuds themselves are, of course, very, very different from any earbud we've seen pretty much ever, as I've talked about already in this video, but we have some really cool aspects here. So first of all, we have a little silicone ring that goes around it, and there are 4 different sizes of this. This essentially has a little loop on the top that is meant to grab into one part of your ear to hold them in place, which is really nice. Without that, these definitely would not be staying in your ear. It took me a while to figure out what size was really best for my ears, because every size feels like it fits, but at the same time, if you move around, sometimes they work their way out. So I found that either medium or large seem to fit my ears the best, but of course, you might have a different size on each ear. That's really not uncommon. Then the earbud itself has a little microphone on the outside. It kind of has like a big sphere where everything's housed, the battery and everything that it's doing. And then we have this little donut attached to that. Now the donut is actually the part that goes in your ear. So if you put it in your ear, you slide down and you kind of twist back. It takes a little bit of finesse and a little bit of time to get used to how to put it in. But once it's in, these are incredibly light and actually really, really comfortable. So, I mean, the first time you wear them, as soon as you get them in the right place, like you can tell that that's where they're supposed to be. They feel really nice. I can hear everything around me, and the sound is also really nice. Now, unlike the Galaxy Buds Live, which is something I was concerned with here, these are not especially finicky with how they're placed. Like, it's kind of hard to place them very incorrectly, whereas the Galaxy Buds Live, it was really easy to rotate them slightly and really destroy the sound. These do a much better job of that. Additionally, they do have a proximity sensor on the inside, so when you take them out, they'll automatically pause, put them in, they can automatically start playing. So this is an indoor microphone test with the Sony LinkBuds, as you can see right there. So leave a comment and let me know how this sounds to you. All right, now we're outside with the LinkBuds. It's a little bit noisier out here, obviously some traffic behind me, a little bit of breeze going on. But leave a comment and let me know if you can hear what I'm saying. So let's talk a little bit more about the rest of this design. These earbuds are IPX4 water resistant. They come in two colors, black or white. The fit, the security of them, I find that, like I said, very, very light pair of earbuds, and they fit relatively securely. Now, if you're really sweaty, I mean, some ears, everybody's ears are different. They might work their way out of your ears, but at least for me, especially because they're so light and so small, I found that I don't have any problem with them coming out of my ears at all. In fact, I actually kind of like these better than a lot of silicone ear tips in that they kind of sit, instead of putting pressure in your ear canal, it puts it more up on your actual ear cartilage there. And so I feel that after wearing them for a long time, I get less ear fatigue. That's just me personally. The Sony LinkBuds, as I mentioned before, are the first for many things, and another thing that they're kind of the first for is the way they're being controlled. So rather than being controlled by tapping the earbud itself, as you might expect, Sony wanted to do things differently. And so instead you tap like the front of your ear or the back of your jaw there, and so if you double tap it or if you triple tap it, those are the two controls you have for each earbud. If you go into the app, as you can see here, you're able to actually customize what each of those controls do. So it can be the volume, it could be controlling the music, it could be doing something like the features I'm going to talk about later on in this video. For example, opening a Spotify playlist could be a quick action that you have there. Now, in case we didn't have enough unique features on here yet, there are a couple other features that we'd like to see. So for one, they do have mono mode. You can listen to just one earbud at a time. I'm not sure exactly why you would need to do that with these unless it's for battery life reasons. We also have Spotify Tap, as I said, allowing you to launch a playlist. And kind of a different feature here, more related to the fit of them, is that I think that these might be one of the best pairs of earbuds for sleeping. I know a lot of people like to listen to music or white noise or whatever it might be while you're sleeping. And so these, I find they fit like really comfortably in my ear. They allow your ear to breathe, which is really important when you're wearing them for many hours at night. And on top of that, because they're so slim, you can kind of lay on your side. And I mean, I tried it for a little bit and they really are pretty comfortable. I think that as far as earbuds go, these are among the best out there for sleeping. Additionally, you can expect other typical Sony features like speak to chat, 360 audio, and things like that. They're getting 5.5 hours of battery in the earbuds themselves, which is a little bit below the standard, and 23 hours when you include the case. When you look at the size of this, that's not especially surprising, but still, it's a pretty reasonable battery life to work with. As far as the sound quality goes, this is where it gets really interesting. These have AAC as their main codec you'll be using, and similar to most open back headphones, these are gonna sound a little bit more like natural and a little bit less like artificially pumped into your ear. It's kind of hard to articulate exactly what I mean by that, but the downside is if you look at the inside of these earbuds, you have a lot of tiny holes there, which means that you're not going to get especially large bass. Because you don't have a big driver right there, it's hard to reproduce lower frequencies, so anything below about 200 hertz is kind of substantially de-emphasized. There is, however, great clarity with a lot of the higher frequencies and the mids as well. You're getting great detail, really good instrument separation, so I was very surprised by that. And the less bass-heavy music, if you're listening in a quieter place, honestly sounds really pleasant. So indoor listening is definitely pretty good with these, but in any louder environment, they're really not ideal. So if you're outside and maybe you're on a bus, maybe you're on a train, or if you're just in a crowded place, you're gonna end up having to turn your music up a lot. They do have kind of an automatic volume adjustment, which is not something I really am a big fan of, but you know, it's something that if you go into a louder place, it'll turn the volume up for you. Feels a little bit obnoxious, but it's something that they do. And we will get into a sound bleed test in a minute, but essentially kind of to summarize the sound quality on these, although bass is not especially strong, the rest of the frequencies are really quite nice in my opinion. In a quiet environment, these sound pretty good, but if you love rap or EDM or if you're frequently in places that have a lot of ambient sound, these definitely are not the ideal pair for you. Now, with that being said, let's get into a sound bleed test because obviously they have a hole right there. So you're gonna wanna know how much people around you are hearing of your music. So to test out the sound bleed, my microphone that I always use is like maybe 12 inches away from me. I'm gonna play about 50% volume, just play some music through these earbuds. That's the volume I would use when I'm just kind of working like at my desk. Then I'll dial it up to 75%. That's if you're maybe doing like a workout or something. And we'll go a little bit more than that as well to see if you can actually hear any sound bleed. and now 75%. And now we'll go up to about 90%. This like really hurts my ears, so I'm not gonna go any louder. So these earbuds, I've been using them for about a week now. Let's talk about what they're good for and what they're not good for. First of all, I would say they're good for biking or running in a busy place. I know I said it's not good for louder environments, but sometimes you need to hear your environment. And if you're biking, this is some time when you have a lot of wind, you're obviously moving pretty quickly. And if you're using transparency mode from a lot of other earbuds, you get a weird like white noise or hissing, or it gets weird. Where this, having a natural sound around you without getting any kind of weird interference with the wind, like I think this is going to give you a really good ability to hear your surroundings and also listen to music. Additionally, these are great for an office environment where you want to hear your surroundings, or, for example, if somebody's going to come up to your desk and talk to you, you're not completely oblivious to them. I mean, if you want to be oblivious to them, then these are not good for you. But I mean, for me, like if I'm working at my desk and someone's going to come over and ask me a question, I want to be able to hear them and quickly turn around, answer the question, and then get back to work, maybe without ever even taking them out of my ears. And then lastly, they're good for casual listening in quiet places. Again, the open back, comfortable design, they're very light, they're very comfortable, but they're not ideal for noisy places, and they're not ideal for people that love bass. These have weak bass, but I would say an untrained ear, especially in a quiet environment, might not really notice that they're lacking bass. Like, they do sound really nice overall. Kind of as a side design thought I had, it would be really nice if Sony made something to plug these so you had more passive noise blocking when you wanted it. For example, if you're commuting, you're on a bus, like I would love to have a small thing that could plug the hole there so you could still listen to music, but block a little bit more around you. But overall, these are a really unique pair of earbuds. I think they're going to be pretty successful among a very specific crowd. They're definitely not for everybody, but as I continue to use these, I'm sure I'll find even more uses for them that I didn't even think of yet. If you guys want to see those, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'll be sharing any kind of experiences I have with these in the coming weeks. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. I'm Mike O'Brien. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.